Live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Hello there, good evening. You're watching the National News broadcast live on Sri Lanka Rupavahini. I'm Chaga Gamage.
And I'm Sithamija Ratna. Let's take a look at today's headlines.
Third reading of the budget passed. A number of grants from the President to restore the collapsed lives of people in the wake of disasters. 72 billion rupees allocated for the next 25 days. 10,500 million rupees already released to district secretaries. IMF assistance in the future also to minimize the economic loss due to the disaster. Restoration of blocked road systems being continued. 85% of collapsed power supply restored. Northeast monsoon activates. Further landslide warnings for 5 districts. Tourism industry slowed down by cyclone did far back to normal. Information reveals of 1,600 deaths due to the cyclone affecting South and Southeast Asia. Well, now we move on to those and other stories in detail. Third reading of 2026 budget was passed in the Parliament today with a majority of 157 votes.
And it received 158 votes in favour and single vote against.
Speaker
Dr. Jagat Wickramaratne says that for the approval of the Appropriation Bill Draft 2026 for the third reading with amendments, 158 votes were received in favour and 1 vote received against. The number of members who abstained from voting is 2. Accordingly, he has said that he wished to inform the House that the Appropriation Draft Bill 2026 has been passed with amendments by the majority of 157 votes after the third reading.
Well, the representatives of the government and opposition expressed their views during today's budget debate. Parliamentarian Kabir Hashim said that the destruction caused by the disaster could have been minimized if we had taken certain decisions at the right time. The question is why we were inactive. Was the political leadership provided by the government or not? Minister Anil Janta Fernando said that it is a false accusation. The reporting of weather-related incidents happen all the time during the rainy season. The relevant institutions are certainly taking necessary action. This cyclone could not be stopped from sweeping over Sri Lanka. However, as a government, we intervened immediately when this happened, and we carried out the operation to evacuate all the families who were in danger. We know that in the past accidents have occurred due to unauthorized construction, non-standard construction and problematic conditions. However, we intervened quickly and first carried out the critical operations of securing food and rescuing them. However, a public opinion was created that the government did nothing. But now it has been nationally and internationally accepted that the state intervened very quickly. Parliamentarian Nalin Bandara said that clearing the garbage, cleaning the roads, cleaning the drains, providing sanitation, these are not the responsibilities of the cabinet ministers of this government. Minister Ananda Vijayapala said that the Department of Meteorology took all necessary government actions regarding this cyclone from 10 a.m. on the 25th, when the early warnings was issued. The police and also our public representatives through provincial councils used public address systems to evacuate people on a large scale. The warning came out at 10 a.m. on the 25th. From that moment, all government institutions were actively operating. The minister takes this opportunity to specially thank the government officials. All officials involved from the Gram Niladhari to the Ministry of Secretaries worked actively. The advice of the President was heeded and a new circular was issued, completely relaxing the previous one. Specifically, through early warnings, the Irrigation Department and the Water Management Unit stated managing the water. They carried out work in that manner in the water sources that should be maintained at minimum level throughout those 5 days. The Navy specifically stationed boats. 3 armed forces were prepared for this also. Police intervened after the disaster and we have implemented this relief program by managing the disaster. The government has established an assessment committee in every divisional secretariat to examine the extent of damage to houses, and we have started that now. A large amount of crop damage has occurred, and the government. Minister Vasantha Samarasinha said that from the moment the flood calamity started to increase, the parliament and the media got together and lied together. They said 60 people were trapped in the bus at Kalavawa and they are being pushed away by the current, they said. These people talk without saying the great effort it took to rescue those 60 people. This massive tragedy occurred and the opposition tried to gain political advantage from it. That's why the minister said that the government should not be talking about the budget now. Parliamentarian Rauf Hakim added that it is a huge task that everyone must work together on. The country must immediately hold an international donor conference to raise funds. The president must personally intervene to do this. Parliamentarian Ranjit Bandara pointed out that a circular has been issued by the Ministry of Health apparently last night. Minister Dr. Nalin Dajati stressed that it says that when conducting health camps for private hospitals or private institutions, the permission of the Regional Director of Health Services should be obtained. I think that is reasonable. Otherwise, in disaster situations like this, if they start holding health camps, it will cause more problems. Therefore, it is easier to integrate into our health system if they inform our health officials first. Parliamentarian Chamara Sampath Dasanayake said that these two cabs came out of Hakmana Provincial Council, waved a red star. Don't let the government get into the state. In the Badula district, the main bridge at Spring Valley is not there today. Similarly, the Lunugala Janathapura bridge is not there. The road. Minister Samantha Vidyaratna added that the disaster happened. Heavy rain fell on the 26th. The next day at 9 a.m. the President called a meeting in the Parliament. The President came and asked me to do who the opposition leader was. The President, after calling the opposition leader on the phone, told him that he did not receive the message and to come immediately, saying there was a discussion to discuss the situation. Only after the President and the opposition leader came did the President sit in the chair and begin to make a jointly journey with the opposition to manage this disaster. But the hand extended to the opposition was used by the opposition to set aside the management of the country's disaster and manage their own disaster. That is the truth. Disasters like this and even lesser disasters happen during your government's time. If we had acted like the opposition during the time those disasters came, it would not be like this. Our Red Star relief teams arrived immediately. They gave food, built houses, repaired roads and repaired railway lines. They did everything. A party that did such things is now governing today. Two great forces are uniting to rebuild this country after this destruction. One is the state power and the other is volunteer power of the country. We will rebuild the country by combining both. We have 497 provincial roads.
The Rebuilding Sri Lanka Fund has received more than 697 million rupees from overseas Sri Lankans, according to Dr. Harshana Surya Peruma, Secretary to the Ministry of Finance, Economic Stabilisation and National Policies. According to him, 33 countries have provided financial aid until now. Secretary to the Ministry of Finance, Dr. Harshana Surya Peruma, said that the Bank of Ceylon has informed that an amount of exceeding 635 million rupees has been received into the current account at the Bank of Ceylon. It has been reported that more than 30,470 transactions have been contributed to this. Several other accounts are operational within the Central Bank of Sri Lanka and for depositing foreign currency, and the total amount receiving into those accounts is approximately 61 million rupees. Accordingly, the total amount has now exceeded 697 million rupees. The Treasury Operation Department has informed that this amount has now been surpassed. It appears that foreign currency has been received from 33 countries so far. The assistance of foreign Buddhist viharas in reconstructing viharas and religious places island-wide to provide relief to their people affected by the disaster will continue with the contribution of the Chief Incumbent of Kangaramaya Vihara, Venerable Dr. Kirinde Asaji Thera. The Venerable Thera made this observation in a meeting held at the Presidential Secretariat with President Anurukumara Dissanayake yesterday. A sum of 30 million rupees was donated to Rebuilding Sri Lanka Fund. President Secretary Dr. Nandika Sanat Kumar Nayaka also joined the occasion. Venerable Kirinde Asajithera said that attention has to be focused on renovating the broken and dilapidated temples. If one temple can take on responsibility for another, all these temples can be renovated. If one church can take responsibility for one another, all churches also can be repaired. The same is for kovils and mosques also. Therefore, all our religious spaces have to be repaired. Throughout history, it has been provided time and again that it can be achieved. Sri Lanka Cricket has donated a sum of 300 million rupees for the fund under the guidance of Chairman of the Sri Lanka Shami Silva and its executive committee. The chairman has stated that Sri Lanka Cricket will continuously appear for the nation and extend support at any instant they need. Royal Electronic and Citrix Security Solution companies have also donated a sum of 10 million rupees for the Rebuild Sri Lanka Fund yesterday at the Presidential Secretariat. Relevant checks was handed over to the President Secretary Dr. Nandika Sanat Kumar Nayaka by chairman of both companies.
Well, renovation of block road systems and power failures due to inclement weather is being restored continuously. After the removal of earth mounds in landslide affected areas, vehicular transport has commenced. The Muthu-Trincomalee section of the Trincomalee-Batticaloa main road, which was damaged due to flooding, has been restored. Sri Lanka Army, Police and the Road Development Authority of Trincomalee have contributed to this effort. Vehicular transport has become normal by now. Restoration of damaged power supply in Valimad area is being conducted these days. Necessary renovation required for the opening of Valimad-Nuwara section of the Badulla-Nuwara main road, which was completely blocked due to the landslide occurred at Rendipola, Valimad, is being conducted by now. The Road Development Authority has commenced the removal of huge boulders and earth mounds, and according to the members of the authority, it will be completed within another 2 days. Teams of employees are repairing the telephone poles and communication systems, including cables which were blown away by the water of Umaoya, are being restored. According to them, the blocked telephone lines will be normalized within the next 2 days. Badulla Mahayangana main road was blocked at several places due to the collapse of huge boulders and earth mounds on it. Renovation process is now end according to the Badulla Road Development Authority. Badulla Mahayangana main road has been opened now for vehicular transport. According to Minister Dr. Susil Ranasinghe, damaged water supply systems can be restored in the coming 2 days. Minister Dr. Susil Ranasinghe said that the National Water Supply and Drainage Board has 342 water treatment centres across the country. 156 out of these 342 were affected by the disasters. Out of those, only 10 are currently affected, and the others have been restored. In some places, the disruption is due to the lack of electricity supply. In some places, the pumping stations were submerged in water. The National Water Supply and Drainage Board has managed to restore a significant amount of. The cleaning of Colombo-Avisaville Old Road, which was inundated due to flooding from Kaduwela to Ambatale, has been taken up by the Kaduwela Municipal Council, the 3 armed forces, police and several other state institutions. The renovation of World Heritage Alahara Nikot damage due to heavy rains has been commenced. It has been the main anicut providing irrigation to farming activities in Alahara, Giritale, Minneria, Kavdulla and Kantale areas. The anicut is being renovated with the cooperation of the members of the army and farmers of Alahara. According to the Polonnaruwa District Secretary, irrigation facilities can be provided again. Restoration of damaged schools and roads are being conducted at present in Vaunia district. The Road Development Authority says that steps will be taken to restore all blocked roads in Badulla district swiftly in order to facilitate traffic. A group of others, including officials of the authority, conducted an inspection tour in the area. The railway line between Bandaravela and Demodara in the upcountry section, which was damaged due to flooding, is being restored these days. Earth mounds fallen into the railway line at Heel Oya in Keenigam areas are being removed, according to the Department of Railways. The Calypso train service between Bandaravela to Alla and also Demodara will be opened soon. The road at the Kalawaya Bridge on the Anuradhapura-Putla main road was opened in the noon today after renovation for vehicular transport. A section of 2 kilometers of the road was affected due to inclement weather. Our correspondent has reported that the road via Kandy, Valapane and Hangurankata, blocked due to the effect of cyclone Ditwa, has been completely reopened for vehicular traffic. Navalapitiya Gampula main road, which was blocked due to landslides, will be opened for vehicular traffic within another week, according to Army Commander Lieutenant General Lasanta Rodrigo. He made his observation during an inspection tour at Gadulbukku area, Ulapane, on the Navalapitiya Kandy main road. The restoration of the road jointly by the members of the Army and officials of the Road Development Authority is in progress. The cleaning of inundated Nuwara bus stand has commenced with the interventions of the police. The damaged water supply source at Ambagasdova, Pomurualla in Bandaravilla is in operation now. Sri Lanka Air Force and government institutions are contributing towards the cleaning of public places and houses. Renovation of Mihidipura area around Malwatu in Anuradhapura commenced yesterday jointly by 3 armed forces, police and the municipal council. The damaged transmission tower in 130 kilowatts at Rantambe, Mahyanganaya will be completely restored by the next Sunday, according to the Ministry of Power. This has been the heaviest damage caused to the national grid due to the effect of the cyclone. Minister Engineer Kumar Jayakodi conducted an inspection tour in the area in order to take stock of the situation.
President Anurukumara Dissanayake has instructed officials to give priority in fulfilling the transport necessities of the people by swiftly restoring the damaged road system to bring back to the normalcy the day-to-day life of them after the disaster. He made this observation during a discussion held in the afternoon yesterday with the officials of the Ministry of Transport and Highway and Finance. The discussion was held in Presidential Secretariat in order to review the swift actions to be taken regarding information of damaged bridges and highways and restoration of them damaged due to Cyclone Ditwa. Extensive discussions were also held regarding the restorations of bridge and highways damaged due to landslide and floods and the allocation of grants for this purpose and the time to be spent on it. Officials of the ministries pointed out that about 247 kilometers of A and B grade roads have been damaged due to extremely inclement weather. 40 bridges have also been damaged. The officials added that 175 out of 256 broken road sections have been opened for transportation by now. Minister Bima Ratnayake said the officials of the Ministry of Finance and the officials of the Road Development Authority were present during the discussion. A discussion was also held yesterday under the guidance of the President in order to take stock of immediate steps to be taken in the face of the damages occurred in agriculture, livestock and irrigation sectors. Discussion focused on the swift commencement on paying compensation to concerned farmers along with availability statistics and data pertaining to the damage caused to paddy, maize, cereal and vegetable plantations. The President pointed out that the necessity of calculating the damage caused to the irrigation system and to restore it immediately and instructed the officials to formulate relevant plans in this regard. Minister K.D. Lalkantha, Deputy Minister Namal Karunaratne and the officials of the Ministries of Agriculture and Finance joined the occasion. Another discussion was held yesterday at the Presidential Secretariat under the leadership of President Anurukumara Dissanayake to review the damage caused in the industry sector. Officials presented statistical data regarding the damage caused to industries due to the disaster situation. A set of proposals to reconstruct the industry sector was also handed over to the President. The occasion was joined by the Minister Sunil Handuneti, Deputy Minister Chaturanga Besinga and other officials. President of Maldives Dr. Muhammad Muizu expressed his extreme grief regarding calamity faced by the people of this country due to surf flooding and landscape. He pledged of his maximum assistance in rebuilding Sri Lanka and providing relief to the affected people. President Dr. Muhammad Muisu added that the government and the people of Maldives will join hands with the government and the people of Sri Lanka in this time of difficulty in a discussion held over telephone. President Anurukumara Dissanayake appreciated the assistance to Sri Lanka by the Maldives in all difficult situations and added that the heartfelt assistance of the government and the people of Maldives to Sri Lanka and its people is an immense strength.
Well, President Anurukumara Dissanayake says that a sum of 72 billion rupees has been allocated for the next 24 days to rebuild the country, which was collapsed by the disaster. The President, delivering the reply speech in the third reading of the budget in Parliament today, said that 10,500 million rupees has been released to district secretaries. President Anurukumara Dissanayake said that the diaspora of Sri Lanka are at this moment working tirelessly day and night regarding this tragedy that has been fallen to the motherland and the people. That is the humanity of the country which no disaster can erase. He said that he has seen some members of parliament making fun of that humanity. In this disaster, the tri-forces, the police and the staff service performed a great task. The government held discussions with them in the middle of the night, in the early morning. However, it is a matter of regret that even as the disaster was happening, the gentlemen in air-conditioned rooms, beautifully dressed, wearing perfume, went and questioned the district secretary, where is this happening? In this situation, people must be very thankful for the role played by the state service in this disaster. However, neighboring states very quickly dispatched helicopters, boats and other machinery, as well as trained troops and trained medical teams to provide the necessary infrastructure. The President said therefore he is extremely thankful to all the friends in those foreign nations for the effort they put in to help Sri Lanka recover from this crisis. The country knows that the economy is not the best place. The country is managing the economy extremely well and moving forward steadily. However, some people with certain lunatic minds live with cruel expectations about the economy. That cruel expectations is what the floods also demonstrated to some. After 48 years, Sri Lanka is recording its lowest budget deficit this year, 2025. The country is recovering. Excluding vehicle imports for 2025, no additional taxes were imposed. Therefore, some started proposing that a new budget statement should be presented, abandoning this budget. When the government presented the budget statement that it was prepared with the goal of achieving certain economic resources, the government will not be abandoned that. The budget statement presented for 2026 is a part of the policy framework prepared for the country to achieve sustainable economic development, and it will be not stopped. In the meantime, actions can be taken under the Public Security Ordinance. When looking at the Disaster Management Act, the Disaster Management Council was convened on the 6th of last August after 7 years. The leader of the opposition represented it. What was the decisions at the Disaster Management Council on August 6th? The decision was the Disaster Management Act is weak and therefore it should be amended. Therefore, the Disaster Management Act is not a strong act to face a challenge like this. Therefore, what is strong is the activation of power under the second part of the Public Security Ordinance. That is the reason why the leader of the opposition specifically requested the imposition of a state of emergency. Therefore, the government made this nomination under the Public Security Ordinance as requested to be passed today. In a disaster like this, the normal laws are not sufficient to face it. Therefore, country need a strong law that is above the normal law in a disaster like this. Therefore, the government is very clear that it has not violated the constitution or any act in any way. It looked at what the most appropriate act for to face this disaster. The government thinks the most appropriate law was the Public Security Ordinance. However, President stressed that the Public Security Ordinance will absolutely not be used to violate the democratic rights of the people. Well, with the activation of the northeastern monsoon, rains might occur in several provinces after the 9th of this month. Well, according to the Department of Meteorology. Director General of the Met Department, Athula Karunanayake, pointed out that thunder showers can be expected anytime in northern, north central, northwestern, eastern and Uva provinces. Director General of the Met Department Atula Karunanayake added that in the coming few days, especially after the 9th, the northeast monsoon period shows an activation. That means it shows an increase in the speed of the winds. Under that condition, by days like 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th can expect an increase in the rainfall within the island. In provinces like North, North Central, Northwestern and Eastern, and in provinces like Uva, rain or thunder showers will occur at any time. Since the northeastern monsoon situation is gradually establishing across the island, several rounds of showers may occur in northern, north central, northwestern, eastern and Uva provinces and in Matale district, according to an announcement by the Met Department. Certain places in the western and Sabaragama provinces and Gol and Matara districts will experience showers and or thunder showers. People are requested to take steps to minimize dangers due to lightning and temporary strong winds along with thunder showers, the Met Department informs. The National Building Research Organization has issued evacuation red notices to 50 divisional secretariat divisions in Kandy, Kegol, Kurunegala, Matale and Nuwara districts. Senior geologist of the National Building Research Organization, Dr. Vasantha Senadira, said that the National Disaster Relief Service Organization is requesting the public that the dangerous situation has not yet subsided. Therefore, please follow the instructions provided and remain in the safe location where you are. The organization strongly requests that people who are in extremely dangerous situations remain in those places until a check is carried out. The organization kindly asks the people note that these inspection activities are carried out under the leadership of the district secretary. Therefore, it may take a few days. 37 persons of 11 families in Jayathukanda village located in Teligama Gramanildari division, which belongs to Yatiantodi Divisional Secretariat Division, have been evacuated today after assessing the danger landslides. They are sheltered at a safety center established at the Bibiloya Viharaya now. Several roads in Ampara, Anuradhapura, Gampaha and Badula districts are still partially inundated due to the effect of Cyclone Ditwa. About 215 families in Palugasvava, Kalavavi and Anuradhapura district are affected due to the effect of Cyclone Ditwa. Much of school books of children of those families were destroyed in the flood. Several damages were caused in Polonnaruwa due to overflowing of Mahaveli River. The residents are in great difficulties since the approach road has been damaged. Residents of Gotatu area are engaged in cleaning their houses with the flood waters receding. Severe damage has been caused to Peradeniya bridge over the Colombo-Kandy railway line due to floods. According to authorities, the bridge cannot be used in rail services without a completion renovation. Many areas in Gold district also are experiencing heavy thunder showers with lightning since yesterday. Meanwhile, heavy showers were experienced today at several places in Colombo district. Moragahakanda reservoir in reaching the maximum spill level. According to the engineer in charge of the reservoir, if the rainy weather further increases, sluice gates will be opened. Residents around the reservoir area have been cautioned to be on alert. The Madakanda and Pilankumbra paddy fields are completely underwater with the overflowing of Alavela Ella. Due to incessant rains, our correspondent reports that 50 acres of cultivated paddy lands has been completely destroyed due to this situation.
Meanwhile, Dr. Nirmal Ranjit Devasiri says that if the private channel felt that the statement made by the Director General of the Meteorological Department on the 12th November as a severe warning, the channel should have been informed the general public on this matter. He questioned the relevant media institutions if it is well aware of the news, why it has not severely informed the general public. Dr. Ranjit Nirmal Devasiri said that it is the campaign they speak on the 12th had been taken by them as a serious warning of danger. This information should have been continuously spread through their channels and an opinion should have been built around it. However, as we know, even the Director General's statement on the 12th was only released by him after the disaster occurred. This means the warning given on the 12th only seemed like a warning to them after the disaster, so they didn't think it was a serious situation before then. Normally, their news sensitivity or the attention they pay on the news is very huge. Even through his political mouthpiece, this should have been raised not just as a mere warning but at least to put the government in a difficult situation. But we can see that didn't happen, which means even they didn't take it as serious matter. Even he didn't take it as a serious matter. Vidarshana Kannangara said that the opposition, which is fragmented into pieces, has taken up their usual politics, that is, primarily based only on whether there is a way to break the government and whether they can test their own power. The country is now encountering an opposition that clearly operates like stray dogs in a power struggle. This distorted that clearly
In the meantime, Deputy Director General of Health Services of the Ministry of Health and Mass Media, Dr. Samindi Samarakon, says that 504 disaster relief medical teams are effective island-wide at present with the coordination of Surak Management and Response Unit of the Ministry. Meanwhile, relief programs for affected people were conducted island-wide today as well. These medical teams are providing their services at 1,041 Suraksha centres island-wide. The Deputy Director General stated that over 98% of the people in these centres have been examined. The persons who need further treatments have been directed to the relevant health institutions. Army media spokesman Brigadier Varuna Gamage said that currently a total of 28,317 personnel have been deployed for rescue and relief operations, including 25,400 from the Army, 688 from the Navy and 2,226 from the Air Force. So far, the security forces have worked to rescue 31,064 individuals from precarious situations. 13 Air Force helicopters and aircraft and 2 Indian Air Force aircraft have been deployed for these operations. The government and the security forces are working together to provide food and other facilities. Sri Lanka Navy has engaged in special operations in granting disaster relief and humanitarian aid to the people living in Colombo, Gampaha, Putlam, Anuradhapura, Mana, Kandy, Nuwara and Trincomalee districts. Sri Lanka Navy is also actively supporting 2 houses and office premises, cleaning and renovating dilapidated roads throughout the island. Navy media spokesman Commander Buddhika Sampath said that especially at this time it must be mentioned that in the face of excessive water flow, diving teams from the Navy were able to clean and renovate the submerged water pumps at the Amatale, Mayangana water purification plants and bring them back into an operational state. 4 mobile kitchens constructed by the Navy were deployed to provide hygienically prepared meals. Sri Lanka Air Force is achieving a leading task in providing relief items for the affected people. The Air Force conducts humanitarian relief to the affected people continuously. A program is underway to airlift aid for the affected people in the Uvaparanagam area. The Presidential Secretariat and Sri Lanka Air Force distributed dry rations and essential items using a helicopter. A sum of 5 million rupees was donated to the Social Welfare Fund jointly started by the Sri Dalada Maligava and Malwatu Askari temples for the relief of the affected people. The donations was given to Mahanayakas of the Malwatu chapter, Most Venerable Tibbatuwa Sri Sumangala Thera and Vinsat Karaga Sangha Sabha. A program to provide dry rations to the affected people in the Udunuwara, Pahingamu and Karamada and Gelioe areas commenced today. It was organized by the senior member of the Karaka Sabha of Sri Lanka, Ramanya Mahanikaya, Venerable Gala Sri Santa Thera. A convoy of lorries carrying dry rations for 15,000 affected families left to LDL company in Ratmarana. The food items were also distributed among the members of the Colombo District Journalists Association. Matale Municipal Council and Dambulla Traders Association have donated dry rations, clothes, drinking water, bottles and other essential items to the safety centres in Matale district. They were distributed to the affected people at the district secretariat. Homagamention temples also contributed to donate dry rations, garments, books and stationeries and medicine for victims affected by the flood and landslide. The lay custodians of the temple and the business community have donated these items to the temple to be distributed among 300 affected families. Cleaning the houses inundated to floods near the Soma Sumanarama temple at Pattiyavatta Kaduwela commenced today. The residents were provided with essential items with the participation of Chairman of Millennia Pradeshiya Sabha, its councillors and staff. The 25,000 rupees allowance planned by the government was distributed among 4,250 affected families in the Dehiovita Divisional Secretariat area in Kegol district today, under the patronage of Minister of Environment Dr. Dhammika Patabendi. Affected people in the Yatihena Gramanidari division in the Biagama Divisional Secretariat area were provided with 25,000 rupee allowance yesterday at the Biagama Divisional Secretariat. Minister Karuna Tilaka and many others were present at this occasion.
International Monetary Fund has expressed its deepest condolences to the unprecedented disaster situation faced by Sri Lanka. Director of the Communication of the IMF, Julie Kozak, said support will be given in future to minimize the economic damage caused by the disaster. She said that to minimize the humanitarian, social and economic influences erupted during the disaster situation, the IMF will closely activate with the Sri Lankan authorities, development partners and other relevant stakeholders. She stressed that she will be working with all parties to recover post-disaster damages. She further said that IMF will continue its support to Sri Lanka under the Extended Fund Facility regulations to overcome the situation. She added that in October, the IMF signed an staff-level agreement prior to fifth review of the IMF with regard to fifth review. The IMF looking for alternatives to extend further assistance for Sri Lanka to face this situation. The IMF expects to conduct a director board meeting on the 15th of this month. In acting to minimize damages for economic requirements and assessing damages, the IMF will further consider how to support Sri Lanka. These measures will cause the final decision taken by the IMF on Sri Lanka.
Within 3 and 4 days, a massive 75 to 80% of Sri Lanka was under flood and multiple entire villages buried by resultant landslides. Thousands of people have been declared dead, with multiple thousands more still missing. Around 1 million people have been displaced from their homes. Victoria has a strong Sri Lankan community and are working hard to raise funds and goods to support the peoples of Sri Lanka with basic needs including food, fresh water and clothes. Sadly, not enough of the Western media has focused on this massive disaster. What I do now is want to raise awareness amongst every Victorian of what has befallen many countries, especially Sri Lanka, because of its geological formation that is now under immense flood, deluge, devastation, and of course the resultant landslides. I ask every Victorian to support the cause.
Chairman of the Mahakaruna Buddhist Association in Singapore, Venerable Dr. K. Gunaratna Thera, and the Singapore and Maldives delegation today met the President's Secretary, Dr. Nandika Samath Kumar Naika, at the Presidential Secretariat. They have arrived in the country with the aim of providing relief to cyclone-affected people. The delegation assured the President's Secretary to extend any type of assistance for the people affected by the inclement weather. This meeting was held under the leadership of Green Sri Lanka Secretariat. The Venerable Thera said that their delegation voluntarily came forward to get the assistance of the Foreign Association and philanthropists for the Rebuild Sri Lanka program. Two parties had a basic agreement to provide required school equipment for the disaster-affected school children. The government of Sri Lanka held discussion with the Asian Development Bank to mobilize a policy-based loan amounting to $100 to implement the power sector reforms and financial sustainability program. This policy-based lending program will support the establishment of independent and financially sustainable electricity utilities. It will also support the streamlined and accelerated development of renewable energy sources for electricity generation under the reform areas. Accordingly, the relevant loan proceeds of $100 million will be disbursed to the Treasury once the loan agreement is declared effective. Further, the government held discussion with ADB to secure a $3 million grant for the Cyclone Ditwa emergency response project, as Sri Lanka has been experiencing a severe disaster situation. High Commissioner of Maldives today officially handed over 25,000 cartons of canned tuna fish to be distributed among the affected people. Operational Director of the Disaster Management Centre, Brigadier Roshan Dharmavikrama, Deputy General Commander of the Western Naval Area, Commander Aruna Vijayawardena and Deputy Director of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Diana Pereira, were present at this occasion. These canned fish will soon be distributed among these people affected.
A number of donations were received today also to the Nosidina Dayava social welfare program implemented by the national television. The collected material stocks were handed over to the concerned district secretaries to be distributed among the affected people. A stock of relief material was also donated by the News and Current Affairs Division of the National Television today for the Nosidina Dayava social welfare program. It included a stock of dry food items. It was handed over to the concerned officials at the forecourt of the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation. Director News and Current Affairs Division of the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation, Vimuktika Karyavasam, said that as the national channel, at this time when there is a national disaster, our beloved countrymen are grieving. At this time, she believes her news team is committed to giving the correct, truthful information to the public responsibly without taking a break. The Chairman, Director General, Senior Staff, Junior Staff of the SLRC, without any bias, have worked very hard. For the sake of our countrymen, our loved ones, they have been working very hard in this area. SLRC news team, presenters, producers team have been incredibly, tirelessly in their work. Beyond the task of reporting, as the national channel always come together during national crisis and disasters. A stock of material collected by the students of Colombo University was handed over to the national television by the Vice Chancellor, Professor Indika Karunathilaka, today. Vice Chancellor of the Colombo University, Professor Indika Karunathilaka, said that the university students have already started volunteering to work at the National Disaster Management Centre, especially to manage the disaster, assisting the Ministry of Disaster Management and that centre. Similarly, yesterday, Colombo University students volunteered to help rebuild the places that were destroyed at the University of Peradeniya. This occasion as a great service being rendered by the national television. He thanked to the national television for taking the lead in this national duty. The Vice Chancellor, another stock of essential commodities collected under Nosidina Dayava social welfare program of SLRC was handed over to the Nuwara District Secretariat yesterday. Deputy Minister Madura Senevratna said that he wants to thank the national television for the public service activity as a main state channel by sending the message through the national television. The state institutions, state officials and the public, especially the people of Nuwara, are offering service beyond the duty voluntarily on this occasion.
මුලින්ම බෙහෙවින්ම ස්තුතිවන්ත වෙනවා නොසින්දෙන දයාවත් එක්කලා අපේ නුවරඑළිය දිස්ත්‍රික්කයට විශාල ප්‍රමාණයක් ආධාර රැගෙන රූපවාහිනී සංස්ථාව අපිත් එක්ක එකතු වීම සම්බන්ධව
තවත් ආධාර ද්‍රව්‍ය තොගයක් බාර දෙනු ලැබුවේ මිනිපේ ප්‍රාදේශීය ලේකම් කාර්යාලයට සහකාර ප්‍රාදේශීය ලේකම් චාමර අලහකෝන් මහතා විසින් එම ද්‍රව්‍ය බාර.
The Assistant Divisional Secretary Chamara Alahakon accepted another stock of relief material on behalf of Minipe Divisional Secretariat.
නොසිඳෙන දයාව සමාජ සත්කාරය යටතේ පුත්තලම දිස්ත්‍රික්කයේ අවතැන් වූ ජනතාවට බෙදා දීම සඳහා රැගෙන ගිය මහන්නතොටිය ඊයේ රාත්‍රී පල්ලම
The stock of relief material transported to be distributed among displaced people in Putlam district under the Nosidana Dayawa social welfare program was handed over to the Pallama Divisional Secretariat last night. District Secretary Sanjay Lakmal received the stock of aid.
It is cordially requested from the fellow citizens to donate relief materials for the Nosidena Dayawa Sabadiyawa Satkarya Community Welfare Program jointly implemented by the National Television and SLT Mobitel in the direction of normalizing the day-to-day life of those who are affected due to inclement weather. Relief items such as drinking water, detergent, equipment, household medicines and other requirements, infant and child requirements, books and stationery for school and other necessary donations have to be forwarded to SLT's Teleshop regional officers in Nugegoda, Wattala, Ampara, Mathura, Galle, Panradura and Kurunegala, and also to Mobitel regional officers of Colombo 2, Anuradhapura, Jaffna, Kandy, Kurunegala, Mathura, Ratnapura and Batiklo during office hours.
Well, that's all the news we have for tonight. Make sure to join us at the same time tomorrow. Have a pleasant evening and a great weekend. Good night.
பல கனவுகளோடு பயணிக்கக்கூடிய மனித வாழ்க்கைக்கு அதிர்ஷ்டம் என்பது பல தருணங்களில் மிகப்பெரிய ஆறுதலாக அமையும். எனவேதான் நீங்கள் எதிர்பார்க்கக்கூடிய அதிர்ஷ்டத்தினை உங்கள் அபிமானத்துக்குரிய சீட்லுப்புகள் மூலமாக தினம் தினம் உங்களுக்காக நாங்கள் அள்ளி வழங்க தயாராக இருக்கிறோம். இது டிஆர்வி லாட்டரி ஷோ. இன்றைய நாளுக்குரிய சீட்லுப்புகளை பார்வையிடுவதற்கு முன்னதாக இன்றைய சீட்லுப்புகள் மூலமாக உங்களுக்காக காத்திருக்கக்கூடிய சூப்பர் பணப்பரிசுகளின் விவரங்களை ஒரே பார்வையில் உங்களுக்கு தர தயாராக இருக்கிறோம். இன்று டிசம்பர் மாதம் 5ஆம் தேதி இன்றைய தினம் உங்களுக்காக காத்திருக்கின்றது கப்ருக்க சீட்லுப்பின் மூலமாக லோத்தர் சந்தையில் அதிக பெறுமதி கூடிய ஜாக்பாட் பணப்பரிசு. அதன் இன்றைய பெறுமதி 61,08,8329 ரூபாய். அது மாத்திரமல்ல, 1 கோடி ரூபாய் பணப்பரிசுகளை நீங்கள் 2 சந்தர்ப்பங்களில் வெல்ல முடியும். ஆகவே இன்றைய தினம் உங்களுக்காக 63 கோடியை கடந்த சூப்பர் பணப்பரிசுகளும் காத்திருக்கின்றன. இன்றைய சூப்பர் பால் சீட்லுப்பின் ஜாக்பாட் பணப்பரிசு 7,89,80,504 ரூபாய். இன்றைய ஷனிதா சீட்லுப்பின் ஜாக்பாட் பணப்பரிசு